I've got a very different kind of story to tell you today, but I'm going to do that in the second half. It's going to give you more reasons to believe in Tesla as a company. Most of you don't need more reasons, but believe me, when I get done with the second half of today's program, you're going to be like all in. You're going to be like, holy mackerel, it's just going to get better and better. Yeah, this is maybe stuff you know. I doubt it. I think you're going to hear it in a completely different way. Before I get to that, though, I found this article. I thought it was unique and special. So, Dan Ives has given his tech picks, the companies that he thinks are the most likely to have big, big gains in their stock valuations over the next month or months. And so let's just go through those real quick. We'll go from number 10 in reverse order down to number one. This is what where he thinks there's going to be massive gains. Number one, this company I don't know a lot about. It's Palo Alto Networks. The ticker price is PANW. It's only up 2% this year. Maybe one of the reasons he likes it is because it's only up 2%, where many of the others are up a lot more than that. He says that they have a platformization strategy. So how to strategically create or organize platforms plus AI. You put that together and you get a 2026 growth formula. That's his commentary. Then there's CrowdStrike. I'm sure you've all heard of CrowdStrike. It's CRWD is the ticker. Year-to-date gain is up 48%. So it's having a very, very good year. And Ives says about this when he says it's one of the best cybersecurity AI plays in the market. This is a very, very big category of business. We don't think so much about it. I think I may have mentioned a few times on the show that I started out in the security business when I was a very, very young man selling padlocks. And you say, well, padlocks, yeah, but no, it's all security, right? I mean, we eventually got into some alarm systems and door locks and whatnot, but basically I was a padlock guy. And all the same things apply to cybersecurity that apply to padlocks. And yeah, number eight, Alphabet. The ticker on that one is Goog, because it used to be called Google. I guess most of us think of it that way still today. The year-to-date gain, you ready for this? 71%. Because why? Oh, because most people are thinking that it's a two-horse race. Really, quite frankly, at this point, it might be a two-horse race between Elon Musk at xAI/Tesla and Google. And so it's up 71%. Ives says this. He says AI tailwinds just starting to play out. Gemini is the real deal. Well, and again, the Grok is giving it a lot of competition, and people are starting to think that the rest are not giving it that much competition. We've got Meta. I've heard of that company. As ticker on that one is META, surprisingly. Year-to-date gains, only 8%. See, it hasn't been favored this year. The comment from Ives, it's way oversold on CapEx concerns. They are very early on consumer monetization. So in other words, they're spending a huge amount on CapEx. People are not confident. One of the reasons it's not up as much is because some people aren't confident that they're spending the money the right way, but they're very far ahead on finding applications that people are willing to pay for. And I don't know if they're ahead of Google on that. And they're not going to be ahead of Tesla much longer on that, but that's where the thing stands today. Now there's Apple, AAPL. Many of you have already been making money on some of these companies for years, including Apple. The year-to-date gain on Apple is only 12%. So it's a little bit under the S&P. It's, well, maybe right around the S&P. No, the S&P is about 15, 16%. So 12% for Apple. Ives says that they are a consumer AI revolution there's a consumer AI revolution that's going through Cupertino. Well, I don't know about his commentary on Apple. I'm yet to see where their AI revolution is taking place, but maybe there's stuff under the, sub rosa. We'll see it later. Number five on his list, only number five, but here it is, Tesla. Tesla is only up 9% this year. So uh, but it's in the same category as Meta and Apple and ahead of some of those others. But anyway, up 9% this year. The comment from Ives is that it's the autonomous and robotics future on the doorstep. So the only company really offering real world solutions, I mean, significant company that has the capability also to do the delivery, meaning they got the factories and the factory know-how. AMD, sure you've heard of AMD. The ticker symbol there is even easier, AMD. The year-to-date gain on that one is 67%. Ives says that they are set to gain market share in the AI arms race. A very compelling valuation at this point. Of course, they are a chip maker competing with NVIDIA. Yeah, they're way in second place, and they're probably never going to catch NVIDIA. That would be shocking. But there you have it. So NVIDIA gets the number 3 slot, and NVIDIA's NVDA. Their year-to-date gain is 30%. And he says, one chip, there's just the one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. And we just did an entire show on NVIDIA. I want to say that was Thursday night. Anyway, it was with Cern Basher. Cern Basher went through and showed, not only did he show where NVIDIA is likely to go based on his analysis, and AJ's analysis, but also how Tesla is going to just follow right along and then supersede. Number 2 on his list is Palantir. I should have jumped on Palantir just on a gut notion 2 years ago. I didn't. Palantir is up this year. Are you ready? 117%. I think that part of the problem for me with Palantir was that I didn't know the TAM. I thought the TAM might have been way more limited because I wasn't looking at governments and militaries and all the rest. But as things have progressed, they're getting all these contracts with governments and militaries, but also with businesses. And maybe you're going to cut into some of Microsoft's business, and that already are doing that. But Salesforce and others might also be looking over their shoulder. Ives says that AI use cases start and end with Karp and company. Karp, of course, being the CEO. And he's a wild and crazy, weird person, but interesting. Microsoft is number 1 on the list. The ticker system, of course, is MSFT. Again, you might have already made money on Microsoft over the years. The year-to-date gain is only 13%, so that puts them also in that category with Apple and Tesla and Meta and others, where the gains are still ahead. I mean, yeah, of course, Microsoft is one of the 4 most valuable. Depending on the day, they might be the most valuable company in the world, and on another day they might not. But they're up there in that. I think they're one of the ones that's over 4 trillion in value now. With NVIDIA leading the pack, Apple's up there, and Microsoft and Google, I think. Maybe not Google. I don't remember. Anyway, so and Microsoft, of course, has the applications in the businesses, in the governments already. So they're a competitor with Palantir. Of course, they also sell Palantir. They are just a huge behemoth and going to be very hard to knock off because they are so already integrated into all these systems. All right, now that's Ives top 10. Now I'm going to get into story number 2. Hang in there with me. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, we're just going to blow your mind. That's all. Just going to blow your mind. By the way, this is Randy Kirk. Maybe you should like and subscribe and hit notify. I need more subscribers. I mean, I'm going to beg you for a lot of things on this show. Are you used to me begging you? Well, recently I stopped asking. I stopped asking for subscribers, and whatever. My subscribers, instead of 800 a month, I was getting 135. So I guess I have to ask for subscribers. If you are interested in Tesla, or you're thinking about investing in Tesla, or maybe you're thinking about investing more in Tesla, or possibly there's some among you who are thinking about cutting your exposure or getting out completely and putting your money into one of those other 9, or maybe something else that you've been watching, this next bit is for you. So as you're thinking about it, here's some things to put in your in your thinking cap as you try to make a decision. Now, there's a lot of reasons for being in Tesla. Let me see if I can list a few of the reasons you might be in Tesla. Just let me know in the comments below which ones apply to you. A lot of people are in Tesla because of the amazing potential for robotaxi and FSD, and they believe that they have a information arbitrage opportunity here because the rest of the world has never driven, they've never seen, they've never been in a car that had FSD version 14.2.1, and you have, or you've been in one like me at 12.6, and it's good enough. And so that you know that this is just the massive TAM, the massive opportunity. You've read enough about it. You've listened to me enough. You've listened to other guys like me, and you're like, yeah, I got to be part of this deal. Now, that would be smart. And last night, I showed two different approaches. Last night was a video. I'll put the card up later. Two different ways that Tesla can get their profits on an annualized run rate basis to 30 billion by the fourth quarter of next year. So not we won't do 30 billion in profits in 2026. Might be 20, but not 30. But by the fourth quarter, we will be at a 30 billion run rate, or in other words, that would be 7.5 billion per quarter, and maybe a lot more. But that's kind of a number that I just proved last night in that analysis. Two different ways, in fact. Now, that video was only looking at the contribution of about $20 billion, again, $5 billion in quarter four from robotaxi. It didn't look at the massive gains that are going to come from unsupervised in both. Once we get to unsupervised, if you watch my channel, you know that that's going to just dramatically increase the number of cars sold. Elon has already pointed to that. And also the FSD profits, Elon has pointed to that. And his eventual stock gains are going to come from those are two of the things. He also didn't look, my story last night, looking at this major gain in profits, didn't look at semi. And guess what? It also didn't look at Optimus. So the potential here is not 30 billion, but 30 billion would be okay, don't you think? A run rate of 30 billion by the end of next year? Well, maybe you're in the stock because of Optimus itself. And you believe Elon Musk when he says it'll be the biggest product ever with annual sales of maybe 100 million of these per year. He's even talked about more than 100 million per year. He's also said that the company will be worth about $25 trillion at that point, or unless I've done the math wrong, $80,000 per share. $80,000 per share. Now, maybe you're excited about the entire company because Elon is now incentivized to get the profits of up to $400 billion a year, which would be about 3 times Apple right now, or multiple times more than that of NVIDIA, but NVIDIA's run rate now might be closer to a couple hundred billion. Anyway, but that would actually put the share price maybe the CapEx in the range of 16 billion, according to Cern Basher, which would put the share price at around $5,000 a share. Now, it could be that you recently listened to a show that I did with Brian Wong, and there we consider the potential for space-based data centers. And there's only one company in the world, SpaceX, that has the delivery system, Starship. And Elon says even Falcon is not going to be the right answer. You need the lower cost of delivery. So Starship is in a class by itself in terms of the delivery system to get the satellites to space that would create the space-based AI data centers. And also, who has the ability to mass produce the satellites? Only SpaceX. And nobody else mass produces satellites. There's no reason to mass produce satellites. And yet SpaceX mass produces a lot of satellites for Starlink and also for others. And only Tesla would be likely to be the one to be able to produce the space-style solar arrays. Now, we don't know that they're going to do that, but Elon has talked about a gigafactory to make solar panels, and a solar panel and a solar array are very similar. There's differences, but nobody else. I mean, there's got to be somebody who's making these for SpaceX now, But my guess is I don't think it's Tesla, but who maybe it's SpaceX. We've never dug down deep enough to see who's making those space-based solar arrays now, but I'm thinking it might be Tesla. Anyway, I'm not sure how to come up with a share price for that. But it would be, I'm sorry, I missed the other part. And also the chips they might be making in a new terafab. And now Elon hasn't made that official yet, but he's made it official enough to talk about details of how that terafab would be made. Well, okay. Then you could come down to the entire AI ecosystem. Right now, I'm sure you've heard that AI represents the lion's share of the US economy, and it isn't going to get smaller. The biggest companies on the planet are those that are in that system, that are on the way to creating various aspects of what AI is going to produce for us in terms of intelligence and capabilities. All of that is just going to get bigger. So then one day I was watching a podcast called Moonshots. They also sometimes call it WTF. I don't know what that means. With futurist Peter Diamandis, and one of the panels on that show said that the winner of the AI race, the one who gets, is going to be the one who gets to recursive self-learning first, and they will have an impenetrable moat. Well, maybe I just took a hard right turn and you're like, where are you going, Randy? I'll come back in just a second because I'll need to bring this all back together. But first, we need to talk about recursive self-learning. You see, recursive self-learning is what you and I do. Okay. We get information, we get data, we get trained, we get people giving us we get teachers and professors and books. We give, my channel giving you all this information. And then we gather all that information, and then through analogy, through extrapolation, through interpolations, through reasoning, and through just sometimes creative genius, we end up with new products and new ways and new ideas and new things that we can do out of that. But what we're talking about with a AI system is eventually, if it has recursive self-learning, it will have the speed to do all those things that we humans do that's incomprehensible today. Now, that might be a year away. It might be 3 years away. We don't know, and depends on who you're listening to. Elon says it might be very soon. When we hit that tipping point, and if only one company does, that even if they only have a few months lead time, the knowledge, the intelligence generated will be so much greater than what all the others will be doing that it won't matter if the others get there someday. Let me give you an example. Imagine this. Okay, let's talking about you want to make a great car. Well, right now, with human input, you can use AI to review manufacturing processes and try to find some savings, let's say on the materials. Maybe you want to make it lighter or stronger or cheaper materials. You always want to do that. And if you can make the materials in your car lighter and stronger and less expensive than other car companies, you're going to have a massive advantage. And human brains do that all the time. You've got people that are highly qualified engineers and inventive types that are looking at the science and always trying to, what I said earlier, extrapolate, interpolate, reason, and invent. Now, maybe you're looking at the aerodynamics and you want to make the car use less energy or go faster. Same thing. You've got all the science that you have to consider for that. The materials that you're using on the surface of the car, the reflectivity, the way the waves hit the car, the way that they hit various aspects of the wheelbase, the wheel cover. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's a very complex science. But if that system, like you, could do millions of iterations of potential combination of materials on the fly, well, okay, way more than you. So you're sitting there going, okay, let's see. If I put a little more of this into the alloy for the aluminum, I'll get this result. And the system, this AI system would be going, oh, here's 5 million different alloys. Or here's all these different ways that I can reorganize aluminum and I can cook it differently, or I can put the ingredients in a different order, or I can anneal them faster or slower, et cetera, et cetera. And every one of those things might cause it to be stronger. But I'm doing all that analysis all at once, and I'm doing it in seconds. Okay. If you had that ability, don't you think that you would have a massive advantage over anybody else? Well, anyway, back to the podcast. See, I finally brought it back here. The panelists said that the winner of that race, the person that gets to this recursive self-learning, would be the one who controls the entire stack, the entire AI stack needed to get there. Well, what were they talking about? What is the entire stack? And what do they mean control? Well, okay, the stack starts. There's about 8 levels, 9 levels to the stack. It starts with mining and refining of the raw materials needed to make the various products and create the computers. So if you have mining and refining, who does mining and refining? Oh, would that be Tesla? Oh, Tesla is mining and refining some of the minerals that are needed, to go into the batteries. But they've also talked about mining and refining the nickel. They've also recognized that basically they now have the skill sets if they need to mine and refine anything on Earth or let's say on the moon, as Elon has just recently talked about. They could mine and refine products on the moon in order to have the factories make the chips and everything else that they need in order to put satellites into Earth orbit from the moon, which would be cheaper. Anyway, it's just fantasizing about the future. Next, if you have the factories, you have to have the factories that make the actual products like the batteries or the chips or the satellites or the delivery systems to get into space, or just to make the chips and put them into factories and then power them and then modulate the power through batteries. You get it, you get it. Okay. Then you need the design of the computers. You need people that are designing cutting edge chips that are faster, more efficient, use less energy. I don't know anybody like that. Right now, they're making inference chips. Do you know the company name that makes the lightest, the cheapest, the most efficient inference chips? You know that Jensen Huang has said that 90% of the chips that will be needed in the future are inference chips. You know that there's some guy, Elon Musk, who says he might want to make these inference chips in a massive new Terra factory, which would produce the raw wafers that would go into the. Anyway, next you have to have the data centers that are doing the training, post-training, and inference. Let's see, names like Colossus come to mind. Maybe I forget the name of the other. Anyway, we have the largest real-world training center in the world at Tesla, and we have what will be, if not already, is the largest traditional style, if you want to call it that, AI data center in Memphis, owned by xAI, and it's going to be eventually by far the biggest. Well, okay, then you need the energy needed to run all those data centers. I don't know anybody that's in the energy business, but there could be a Tesla out there. Anyway, what about the data input? You need digital data, and you also need real world data to get there. Digital data could maybe be coming from X. I don't know. It used to be called Twitter. Maybe it's producing a lot of digital data every single day, maybe on a scale that almost nobody else has. And then what about real world data? Nobody questions the facts. Nobody questions this. Tesla has the most real world data of any company. Now, you need the inference to deliver the value to the apps, those inference chips. We were talking about that a minute ago. And so edge computing is going to be super important. And then you need the applications. So what would the applications be? Oh, they would be things like being able to do that recursive self-learning. It would be things like being able to power a vehicle that drives itself, or maybe a humanoid Optimus would be a pretty good, application that would use all of this information. Now, who comes to mind when you think about this entire stack? Only one person, only Elon Musk. Between Tesla, SpaceX, xAI, and Neuralink, all the elements of the stack. You don't need Neuralink, but Neuralink is an extra special. It's like a bonus. You have one person controlling all of the stack and only one. Well, Now you know why we wrote the book AI Rising. Now you know why, and you might have another reason for owning Tesla. If you think it would be important for you to get to know as much as you possibly can, get as much knowledge about that stack as possible, maybe I could recommend a book to you that is unique in telling that story. There's nobody else. There's no other book like this. Nobody else tells that story. They might tell parts of it, but nobody else is telling you all the elements of the stack and what's happening right now, up to date, super, uh, uh, just as if it was the news breaking. Now, each of the authors, and you know who they are, each of these authors has specialized knowledge about one or more aspects of the stack. You might suspect, if you watch the channel a lot, that it was Brian Wong who had the most in terms of the science. But Larry Goldberg wrote the book on decision trees. And Phil Beisel is a computer engineer who worked for both Apple and Rivian in executive positions, including setting up the computer science division of Rivian. Well, that's only half the book. It also looks at the daily impacts on you and your family regarding future jobs, regarding professional improvement right now, regarding lifestyle changes that are coming and coming soon, and the applications for getting to those changes, specific applications over and over and over again. Bradford Ferguson and go down the list. Cern Basher are showing you the ways that you can get to this information right now. So you don't have to, making it clear, laying it out. Now, you can get the book right now in paperback, hardback, Kindle, or Audible on Amazon. All are available easily. Of course, the information is in the description below. But I got a Black Sunday. Oh, that's bad. Let's see. Black Sabbath. Anyway, I've got a special that's only good today and tomorrow. That's it, just for 2 days. You see, I did a PDF of the book. I've got a PDF of the book, and I also have an MP3 of the book using my voice, which was created. We cloned my voice and then created an AI version of the book, and then we're not able to use it on Audible, and so there's been a lot of confusion about all that. Well, some of you might prefer this version, or maybe you just would prefer to save some money, or maybe you're out of the country and you can't get my Audible version at all on Amazon because of all this confusion. So for 2 days, now you'll be able to buy the package, a combination of the Audible book and the PDF forever for $15. But the special is I'm going to give you both the PDF version and the MP3 for $10 for the next 2 days. Now, remember, this is not going to go into your Audible file. It's not going to, the PDF is not going to go into your Kindle file or be able to be read on your Kindle reader. And so all of the bells and whistles that are available to you through Audible and through Kindle, those are not going to be there. All right. But there may be, again, 2 reasons why you would do this, or 3 if you count saving $5. All right. So what do? Of course, you send it to paypal.me .com.me/Randy Kirk. That's how you can get that special deal. This is a significant and serious book with 360 pages. But the cool thing is if you're not a big time readers, each of the chapters is independent. It's like a short story. It's like 20, whatever it is, 20 something, 18 or 19, 18 short stories that have been put together in one book. And so you don't have to read it through like a novel. It doesn't have to feel like something that is going to be hard or difficult. You just pick the ones that you think are interesting and maybe read one here and one there. By the way, while you're at it, I've got a special on these 2. Okay. Same deal, $20. I'm sorry, $5 off. So $20 no matter how many you buy. $20 for one, 40. If you want to buy 1,000, it's $5,000. Okay. So it's it's $20,000. So please don't place the order at 5,000. Well, maybe. And I don't think we even have 5,000 left, or 1,000 left. Maybe we do. Okay, so $20 one, all the information down below. Just you can ignore the normal 25 for one, 45 for two, etc. And just however many you're buying, $5, $20 each, and send to the same place, paypal.com.me/Randy Kirk. I think that's all I got for you today. Again, remember last night I did that video showing how we get to 30 billion in profits on a run rate by the fourth quarter of next year. And I'll put that card right up there. Later on today, you'll have the regular Monday morning, which we do on Sunday night, where we show you where things are going to be going next week. Lots and lots of reporting next week coming out. It's the week before the Fed is going to make their decision, so some of this reporting might impact their decision. And then later on tonight, I've got another very unique special in mind for you. You should probably check it out. Yeah, that's it. It's been great talking to you.